Hey there. I was going to talk about the time I nearly drowned, and then I realized that it's like I have a history with swimming. I've got a past when it comes to swimming. And if I'm going to talk about the time I nearly drowned, then I need to talk about the other times I nearly drowned as a kid and my incidences with swimming.
Oh, this actually might be fun.
So this is like this is probably going to be a part two. This is going to be a trilogy of near swimming deaths.
Just like that? You throwing it away?
Spoiler alert, I survived.
Leland.
I love to go to lakes and pools and stuff and wade around. Like I love that. And what I was doing was technically swimming. Like I go under the water too, and I like to you know, and sometimes do a little bit of freestyle. But I could do 3 or 4 strokes, and then I had to be able to touch the ground because I just didn't know how to swim.
That's not good.
There was no swimming lessons. Didn't have running water at the farm I grew up on for a little while. Okay, so
Okay, I get it. You were poor.
You bet I was.
there's no money for swimming lessons. But I usually kept it at head level and just kind of, sometimes the water, I get up to here with the water, and I'd be like, oh, I kind of float around a little bit, or tried to float, and then bloop, and I was like, that was on the edge, right? Like that was exciting to me.
You're a real hero.
In fact, there was even this one incident where the canal at camp, I went to this camp, there's beach all along, and then this canal so that the boats had an area, but it had to be deep enough for boats. And then on the other side was another beach, a nice beach.
I'll just skip ahead to the next section.
We'll just go across there, and they all, kept their towels up and maybe swam a little bit or whatever. And I was like, well, how deep is it? Because I can't swim. And they're like, oh, yeah, it'll be fine. And so I was holding my towel above my head, and all of a sudden I hit something, and it could only be maybe even a couple of feet of where it's over my head, but I panicked. I was just like, just flailing around.
Interesting technique.
I got to the other side, and then I lost my towel, and then somebody else just swam under and got it. That's how good they were at swimming. It's like you guys are kind of showing off right now. It hurts my feelings. So I had some bad incidences with the swimming. Yeah, swimming in general just wasn't my thing. It's not like I want to go to public places and take my shirt off. You know what I mean? Like I was embarrassed of how I looked anyway, and I couldn't swim, so it's like I wasn't in a rush to do that. You know what drives me crazy? It's when you're young, being skinny is just like the worst. It's just when you're a young man, you're the kid that looks like you're malnutrition dying, and you're not. This is so sad.
Stop being dramatic.
But as I got older, being the thinner guy, and then, put on a little bit of muscle or whatever, it's really hard to do that, but a little bit. And then all of a sudden I get to my age, and now everyone's like, oh yeah, dad bod is in. No, what, you can't do that. Yeah, no, fat is now in. Fat body, it shows, no. You can't take both. You can't be like, yeah, I'm a normal kid, look at me. Oh, now look at me, I'm a fat kid guy because I don't care anymore, I'm old. Oh yeah, no, that's good too. That's not fair. When do I get to be acceptable? That was my question.
That's your question.
So in our gym class in my 10th grade, we had a section on swimming, and I was like, oh, I'm gonna have an issue there because I can't swim. And the teacher was like, no, first what we're gonna do is I'll separate everybody into your swimming levels, and then we'll progress from there, and that's how I'll judge everyone. You'll be fine. And so I jumped. So his way of testing us was just swim a lap. I was like, I can't swim a lap.
Man, you are one pathetic loser.
I did the freestyle on the top, and then I walked along the bottom. So I just kind of crouched down to the level of where the water was at, and I did like I was swimming. Kind of a hybrid of swim walk. Why not combine 2 things that I'm good at? Walking, well, one thing that I'm good at, and add it to where I'm weaker and make it stronger. Right? I mean, that makes sense.
Yeah, that does make sense.
I was a way better walker, so why not combine the 2 with my walk swim motion, which is great until it becomes over your head. Anyway, yeah, he was like, okay, you're pathetic, you can't swim at all. But he said this to me, my teacher. And you know what's funny is I don't remember this teacher's name.
I'm sorry, what were you talking about?
I was trying to think about it. I can't even picture who it was. I know it was a guy, but that's all I know. Like, I literally have no idea. I could Google it.
I looked it up on the Google.
And maybe try to figure out from my school. I could probably even ask some friends. But here's the thing I've been finding about Googling.
Work the Google on the internet machine.
I rely on it way too much. Like, I Google everything now. And my brain is just getting dumber and dumber. Like, it's going to get to the point where, like, what's my middle name again? Hang on, maybe it's on IMDb page or Wikipedia. Is it on there?
You should have at least written a joke.
So I decided not to. I'm just going to try to remember. And it's not working. I can't remember it all. But I'm not going to look. I refuse to look. I'm trying to get my brain to do a few more things so that it doesn't become completely useless. But anyways, he said, if you jump off the high diving board into the deep tank, I'm going to give you 90% in swimming. That's all you got to do. He knew I was scared of water. And I'm like, do I have to survive? Like, if I drowned, do I still get like a posthumous, like, do I still get the 90? Because I was scared. I was like, I probably will die. You know that. And he was just like, I don't really care. And then they gave me advice. Like, I had friends telling me advice. They all knew I was scared to death, right? So they're like, yeah. So what happens is, like I said, what happens when I fall in? And they're like, oh, you'll just float up to the top. And they had already, in the floating sessions, they're like, how is it that you don't float? I literally would just kind of, like, my one hip would maybe stay up and everything else just went below. And if I tried to level it out, I can't float. It's the weirdest thing.
I mean, Leland is just crazy, right?
People, it's amazing. People are like, everybody can float. Here, get on your back. And then they just watch me. They're like, that is weird. Most people float. They said, yeah, you don't even have to swim up. You just, it'll bring you up. And I was like, okay. They probably shouldn't have told me that, because I just was like, okay, don't swim up. Probably not smart. But I went up to the high diving board, and man, your body won't let you do something when you're scared. It's like, okay, jump in. So I was like, my body was like,
what has your body been saying?
Absolutely not. Why are we even up here? It's an all-guy class. There's no girls to impress. Who cares what these guys think? You're not even going to remember this teacher's name in a couple years. I'm assuming my brain said this. I don't really know exactly what they said, but something like that. And but I was like, I gotta do this. It's the 90. It's worth it. So I jumped in. I didn't really jump in. I kind of fell in. And I remember when I went in, I opened my eyes under the water, and I was okay. So this is where they said I'd float to the top. I remember thinking this.
Just when I think you couldn't possibly be any dumber, you go and do something like this. And totally redeem yourself!
I started to kind of slowly go up, and I remember watching the bubbles kind of go up with me. It was just this surreal moment. Like, I guess I easily could have done that, but water was a mystery to me, okay? And I just slowly just started to come up to the top, and I was looking at it. I'm like, oh, I'm actually going to go to the top. As soon as I got up, I just freestyled. And like, I freestyle swimmed. I wasn't rapping. I'm the L to the E to the L-E-N-D. I got the biggest swimming hands in the whole... Like, that wasn't...
Don't ever do that again.
I just saw the edge, and I was just like, get to the edge, right? I got to the edge. My life had been saved, and my life had been spared. And I looked over at the teacher, and he was like, do it again. And I was like, no, not the deal. Not the deal. You said jump off the high diving board. I did it. I want 90%. He said, do it again or I'll give you nothing. Which, that's a bit of a jerk move. I don't know if he thought if I did it one more time, all of a sudden I'd be comfortable. Maybe he's, hey, see, you didn't die twice. So now you know you won't die. Well,
Everybody dies, right?
You also don't want to get overconfidence when you can't swim, okay? So I went up there again, and I was like, I can't believe he's making me do this, but I got to get I went this far. I don't want a bad mark in swimming. And I forced myself to do it again. And that time I did die.
Oh, I believe you. It's just the craziest thing I've ever heard.
I don't take swimming, like I'm a little panicky around the water. When my kids were little, anytime they were near the water, I was always like ready to dive in after them. As long as it wasn't over my head. If it was over my head, it's like, you're on your own, kid. You made the bad decision, not me.
Leland did not do these things, not the Leland that you knew.
No, but I sure don't take the swimming lightly. Because I just never learned how. I just don't want to go get lessons now. I feel like a 48-year-old man getting in the pool with a 6-year-old, and he's doing better than me. I don't know if I can handle that.
You're pathetic.
Share, comment, hit the notification bell. Let people know if you enjoyed a video. Tell other people to check it out. Next time I will drown, just so that the story's better. That's what I'm going to do.